camera.
Okay.
I see my map. You had to tell me. It's nice to meet you. And you walking around and around. Do you need my map? No, I know. It's great.
Hi, James Thompson. Oh, great. Hi, James Thompson. Oh, great to meet you. Oh, that's it. How's he doing?
A little better right now.
Well, okay, they were trending in the right direction. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. Oh, right. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and get going. I got a tight 10 minutes here. Hopefully, I can get it just right. If you're looking for third period U.S. History honors, Mr. Thompson, you are in the right place. So I congratulate you on that. Before I say anything else, Ms. Miller, who also teaches U.S. history and I've known for 16 years, she'd get mad at me if I didn't plug her Washington, D.C., New York trip, which she's going on. So there's a meeting right after this is over in room 26. If you can't make it to that, that's not the end of the world, and I have some handouts over here on that too. So you're all witnesses. I told you about it, so if Ms. Miller gets mad at me, I need you guys to back me up on this. All right, so on that note, I'll tell you a little bit about myself and about the class, and hopefully we'll make you feel good about where we're going this year, because I'm excited. So who's this guy? Who am I? This is my 16th year. I can't believe it's been 16 years. My 16th year here at McCall Middle School, all of them in this room, all of them teaching U.S. history, and I, believe it or not, I couldn't consider myself to be more lucky. I love 8th graders. I love U.S. history. I love everything about it. I love this school. The other coworkers are as good of friends I have. I've known a lot of coworkers here longer than I've known my wife. I love it here. What can I say? I just do. In terms of my educational background, my bachelor's degree is from UCLA. My master's, my credential from Pepperdine University. So if you're a USC person, sorry, that's just the deal. I don't know what to tell you. That's just that cute. My wife, Anna, she's also a teacher. She teaches 2nd grade in what I like to call the other LAUSD, the big LAUSD, Los Angeles Unified. And as much as I love teaching here, there's always a few bumps in the road and that kind of thing. And so whenever I feel bad about my day or things just didn't feel like I wanted to, all I have to go home is talk to Anna and say, how was your day teaching the other LAUSD? And she tells me, and I go, never mind, I am happy to be where I am. And that's all it takes. It's very convenient for me. And so we have a 6-year-old. There she is. That's Mackenzie. She's a 1st grader right now at LAE, Los Alamitos Elementary. And so that's a different experience. It's to teach in a district for all these years and also have your first child. And then they're off. They get some more skin in the game for you, right? And so that's a great experience too. She loves it. We have a saying in this district, all in all the time. I'm mostly in most of the time. She is all in all the time. Oh my gosh, she is into it. But it's good to see. In terms of what your child will be learning, like content, history content, we start with colonial America, so late 1600s, early 1700s, and then we go all the way up to Reconstruction after the Civil War, which is 1870s, 1880s. What's cool about that, what I love teaching about that, is that different than maybe 6th grade history or 7th grade history, which is kind of 1,000 miles across and about an inch deep, where you kind of jump into all these cultures over thousands of years, which is great. I'm not knocking it. I love what I get to do because I get to go a very short time span and go really deep into it, into the characters, the oddities, the coincidences, the themes, the recurring events, the foreshadowing that you see with it. And that's kind of a different experience. And so because of that, we really emphasize the story in here. Not that there's anything wrong with dates and those kind of things. That's, of course, part of history, too. But to emphasize, what do I like about history? What makes history really interesting? Which, at least when I was 13 or 14, I didn't quite get. And as an adult, I think what I think is interesting is probably what they think is interesting too, which are things like coincidences and characters and oddities and controversies and ethical issues and themes. That's what makes life interesting, that's what makes stories interesting, and that's what hopefully makes this class ultimately interesting. The other emphasis in here is using history to build skills, which is an idea that when we first started talking about this 4 or 5 years ago, honestly, I kind of pushed back upon a little bit. History to build skills. History is history. We build skills. But the more we've done it, the more I've really come to embrace it, which is building literacy skills through history, reading and writing skills, vocabulary skills through history, using as much technology as we can here, verbal skills, discussing both in small group, in big group, on all kinds of topics, collaborative skills, creative skills, critical thinking skills, all these things. History can be a vehicle to build all these things. In the business world, they use the term soft skills for these, but in reality, they are sometimes the most lacking skills. When you read articles from people in college admissions, people who are hiring, people just getting in the workforce, they complain. Kids these days, man, these are some things they need. And so we use history, hopefully, in this class as a vehicle to help build those things as well. In terms of communication, as a professional, I don't think I have any excuse not to be in communication, not to make communication as easy as possible between you and I. Email's always great. I will return emails when I'm online at the grocery store. I'll return emails as I'm falling asleep on a Sunday night. I'll get back to you almost any time as quick as I can via email. About 3 or 4 years ago, I started class Instagram. Well, I don't know, the kids are into it. Let's see what happens. And it's actually been really, really cool. It's been fantastic. In terms of transparency and building a classroom culture beyond the walls of this room, and where you can see what's going on, kids can see what's going on. I even have kids on there from previous years. I have kids on there who are in college now, and to watch them interact and build that beyond just these walls is kind of a neat thing. And so if you're into that kind of thing, I highly encourage you to follow me because it gives you a better idea of who I am, but also more so the kind of work and what the class is about. Your kids also have, or made aware today, there's a really short, and I mean really short, like 2-minute long Google Classroom. There's a parent survey. All that is just making sure I'm collecting accurate email and phone numbers, stuff like that. And it's also just so you can see Google Classroom. I'm sure most of you have, but I want to make sure your kids actually are kind of forced to take the time to sit down with you and say, here's what it looks like and here it is, because that's a platform that isn't going anywhere and it's fantastic and it keeps getting better. And so that is something that tonight, tomorrow night, over the weekend, it should take you 2 minutes, but hopefully your kids will present that to you, ideally, right? My website, different teachers use the website different ways. I use it as much as I can as a communication tool as much as possible. I have my Instagram link up there. What do we do today? My daily slides that I put up here every single day. You can see those all the time, 24 hours a day. If your kids are absent and want to know what do we do in Thompson's class, that's there. Grades, class syllabus, my back to school night. This presentation you're looking at literally right now is right there. I have a handout. I'm not giving out a handout tonight. Usually most years I end up with extras and they're kind of more of a distraction, but if you want like an 8.5 by 11 handout, that's right there as well. My goals for the year, like what do I want to accomplish as a professional with your kids? I want to have the most transparent, accessible, and technologically advanced class here. I want you to know what's going on. I want you to feel like it's easy to find out what's going on. Bless you. And I want you to feel like your kids are really building necessary skills for them going forward as students. Nothing that happens in here should be a mystery to you. There's no reason for it to, especially in this day and age. I know when I was in 8th grade, I wanted to keep my parents in the dark as much as possible. I really did. And that was my goal as an 8th grader. But this day and age, we can bridge that gap better than ever before, right? I want to make teaching, learning, and communication as enjoyable and hassle-free as possible. I don't know why it took me so many years to realize this, but a few years ago it occurred to me something kind of unique about this job, which is that my work environment, which is this space, is your kid's learning environment. And when I have a good day at work and it feels good in my workspace, that's usually a great day learning for your kids. That means that it's efficient, that means that it's enjoyable, that means like the tone in the room is good, or people are getting things done, but they don't feel pressured and feel that they're getting along. And that's a cool thing, is when I can build a work environment that is good for me, it's usually a great learning environment for your kids. But I realized, hey, that's the same thing. I don't know why that took me so long, but it's kind of a neat deal with education. In terms of what I expect out of your child, I want them to take chances and stretch themselves, and that's hard at their age. Shoot, it's hard for adults, but at 13 and 14, they have all kinds of thoughts and emotions and things like that are kind of unique to that age group. That's why we love them. But I want them to take chances and stretch themselves a little bit. Come to the room with a great attitude. I feel like attitudes not only are contagious, but are kind of habitual too. When they learn, okay, whatever's happening outside, I can drop at the door and I can come in at least into this space with a great attitude. Be willing to work with others. There's a ton of collaborative work they do in here. And as you guys know from your job in your life, you don't always get to work with your best friends. You don't always get to work with people you see eye to eye with. How do I have those skills and how to develop those skills where I can continue to do that, not just in here, but way beyond this class? And this is a big one. Advocate for themselves. Guys, middle school is middle school. It's a unique environment. They come to us for elementary school, and as at least from my perspective, it's like little kids. And they leave. And you've seen them, they're not little kids when they leave. And so my goal is I want them to come in here as kids and I want them to leave as young adults. I want to get them ready for where they're going. I feel like if I don't do my part in that as an educator, like I've kind of failed. This is the bigger picture thing here, right? How you can help, of course, check Aries often. Obviously, encourage your child to communicate with me. I love communicating with you guys. You're all delightful people, I'm sure. But what I really love is when students advocate for themselves. If they miss school or something goes wrong or they have a question, when they're the one that emails me, comes up to me and asks me the question. And again, not that you're all lovely people. I love hearing from you. But they're at an age where that's a skill they really need, is to be their own advocate for their own education. And always remember, guys, we have the same goals, hopefully, which is I want your kids to have a great year. I want them to mature, I want them to develop the skills they need for high school and way beyond. And every decision I make is with that in mind. Of course, always, like I said, the Instagram, I have my website. If you find yourself in the store and think, that Thompson, he was all right. Let's get him something. Kleenex, hand sanitizer, printer paper are always welcome in here. And if you don't think I'm all right, that's okay. You're not alone. You're not alone. Yeah, that's all about IHOP for tonight. I think I made it just under the bell. I think I did it. This is early, but usually I'm going to like 6th period. For this, 3rd period. gonna be a good night, guys. It's gonna be a good night. If there's any questions, feel free to hang out. Otherwise, if you want to wander early and go on to period 4 now, if you want to go on to period 4, that's a good deal too. But anyway, thank